Oh, there you are, YouTube. I just watched Woodstock 99, Peace, Love, and Rage on HBO Max, and I was so hyped for this documentary because I was like a 90s kid, and I was feeling very nostalgic. I was like telling my wife as we started this is going to be difficult because I'm going to see the clothing, I'm going to see the bands, hear the music, and I'm going to be wishing I was back there in the 90s, in 1999. I was in, let's see, what month? I don't know what month Woodstock 99 was in, but I was somewhere, probably freshman, sophomore, when this happened. Actually, it was probably in the summer, wasn't it? So it was probably like between those 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year of high school. And yeah, I was just excited. I was like, this is going to be great. This is going to be a trip down memory lane. Like, I wasn't at Woodstock, but, you know, I was watching MTV when this was happening. So I was watching it like during the day, in the evening, or whenever they were showing that footage. And then at night, I was, you know, watching the news, the evening news, where this stuff was being covered, because Woodstock 99 was not the peace and love fest that 69 was. Peace and love were traded in for rage, just as the title suggests. And yeah, I don't know, when it was like my mind when I heard about this documentary, I was like, this is gonna be awesome. I mean, you know, it's a good documentary, but I was thinking like, this is going to be taking me back, and I'm gonna be wanting to go back to that time. And that's not the vibe that this documentary gives off, because it gives a lot of the harsh and awful and terrible realities that was Woodstock 99. And it's just, I was so young back then, I just wasn't remembering that stuff. So much time has passed. I was just thinking, these are bands that I like. You know, I used to listen to these bands, so this documentary is just going to get me hyped, and I'm going to be dancing throughout the living room. And, you know, stuff like that would happen every once in a while. But at the same time, you know, you're learning so much more about this than I knew at the time. Like, you know, we'd see the riots and the fires and things like that. And at that age, when I was seeing it, it was like, whoa. And, you know, Kurt Loder and everybody was talking about it on MTV and just, you know, kind of like disappointed and everything. But I just don't think when I was in high school, I was understanding how big an issue all of that was. And, I mean, even deeper down, like the complexities of maybe why stuff like that happened, you know, like when you look at the way the festival was put together, the documentary lays a lot of this stuff out. Like, I think somebody even said, like, how could this not have happened? Like, when you look at everything that was put into place to create Woodstock 99, this was just bound to happen. Riots and fires, and I mean, there's assaults. This documentary is a difficult watch when you see all of went down, because I don't know, again, as a kid, I just didn't have a full grasp of everything that was going on. And the heat also, like, even that just sort of setting a tone, a vibe, a temperature for people. But then the acts that they got, the venues, the musicians that they got to play, it just didn't fully make sense. They didn't have like a theme for Woodstock 99. You know, when you have these rage bands, you know, you have to make sure you have better security, and they didn't have great security. They were telling stories about how people, you know, would sign up to be security members, and then once they got, you know, past the gates, they took off all their security gear and then just lived at the festival, you know, just as guests, with no intent ever of being security guards, instead to just basically get a pass to these bands. So you're losing a lot of your security that way. Supposedly the qualifications to get that job weren't very high also. Like the type of training, you know, necessary for something like that wasn't given. So when things get out of hand, you know, you're not going to want to go in there and try and stop these things for your own safety if you're a security guard. So it's just, wow, it is quite the documentary, and did not go at all as I had planned, not planned, I don't know, as all as I had figured it would. Like, I really did think I was going to watch this and have a fondness for those times, and I don't know, like it was very weird to watch because, you know, I venerate the 90s a lot because that's like my favorite decade that I've lived through, and just to see all of that destruction, abuse, assault, it was wild. I don't know. Again, the bands, you know, I was really into Limp Bizkit and Korn during that time. Who else was there? Chili Peppers, I guess. You know, I feel like I liked them more earlier, like early 90s. But Korn and Limp Bizkit, that was like, you know, I was freshman, sophomore, seeing them on TRL all the time. And in Kid Rock, I guess, I don't know, I didn't really listen to him that much, but, you know, I knew a couple of his songs. But, like, I remember when, sort of off topic maybe, I don't know, Limp Bizkit, you know, listened to them in high school. I went to one of their shows in 2000, and Eminem was there, and Exhibit, and Papa Roach. But I saw them, and I remember, like, in high school, I went to a small town, so, like, what was popular is what your small town knew. You didn't really have, like, people who knew indie music or underground music or anything like that. It was just what was popular. So, you know, Limp Bizkit, Korn, you know, they were topping the charts on TRL and everything, so they were popular. But then when I went to art school, I went to college, and I remember going into my class, and I'm wearing a Limp Bizkit shirt, and I'm thinking, you know, this is what, you know, in my high school, this is what the artists would wear. But in college, you know, they are a mainstream band, corporate band that they had no respect for. So I was getting, I feel like my hand's shaking a lot. Sorry about that. So yeah, I was getting made fun of for wearing a Limp Bizkit shirt to class. And I'm thinking, but we're artists. We're like, we're different. Isn't this, why don't you think this is cool? And then, you know, like those kids were wearing Velvet Underground and I don't know if Modest Mouse was around, or I don't know, Death Cab for Cutie, Snow Patrol, stuff like that. I just remember those types of bands being around like afterwards, but while I was in school. But yeah, basically the students were into music I had never heard of at all, because to me, you know, artists from my small town were listening to Marilyn Manson, were listening to Limp Bizkit, Eminem, and Korn, and Stained, and Cold, and bands like that. Man, I'm so sorry for my hand shaking. And yeah, basically got made fun of at art school for wearing a Limp Bizkit shirt, and I was so, like, what? I was so confused. Did not get it, because I thought, I'm going to art school, these are my people, they are going to, I'm not going to be an outsider, we're all gonna love Limp Bizkit. Nope, I had the wrong band. I needed a Velvet Underground shirt on, and I wasn't wearing one. But anyway, this documentary did not set into motion much nostalgia, which is what I was expecting. I mean, it did a little bit, but the events that they cover did not get you hyped for that time. So don't expect that, but expect to learn a lot and to find out a lot of what went down at Woodstock 99. Another thing, I'm glad that they covered Woodstock 94, because I feel like everybody always forgets Woodstock 94. Nobody talks about it. I remember it. I feel like Pepsi did a lot with that, because I feel like I remember 94 Woodstock advertised heavily, but then nobody talked about it afterwards. You always hear about 69 and 99, but nobody ever talks about 94. So I'm glad this documentary did touch on it a little bit, because I was sort of always feeling like Am I the only person that remembers Woodstock 94? Had some lit there. But yeah, this documentary remembered. Anyway, gonna go ahead and end this vlog. Thank you so much. That's on HBO, by the way. It says it's like a series. But I think it's just a one documentary. Maybe they covered the whole thing, the whole festival. So maybe they'll have more later. I don't know, but it said this was episode 1, but it just seemed like a standard, you know, real like feature-length documentary. So I don't know. But anyway, give it a look on HBO Max. That's where I watched it, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.